There we go, smooth entrance and exit.
Well done. So how are you feeling now you've done your cryo session?
I feel fresh. That's
Very
what I say.
good.
I feel refreshed. I feel ready to go. I've got a training
Amazing.
session, as I was mentioning before. Got a training session after this, and I feel good and ready to go at it, to be honest.
Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Reinventing Cool. I'm your host, Maria Encebella, the founder of LondonCryo. On this podcast, I aim to talk to my guests throughout the process of their cryotherapy session, so you can get a behind-the-scenes look into the whole process while getting to know the guests better. Today's guest is Andre Bates. Andre is a group fitness instructor at Barry's Boot Camp. We have been working closely over the last few months as he is rehabilitating from an injury to his knee. Through today's episode, he's going to be talking about which treatments he has used to get the most benefits to help with his injury. Andre, welcome to the latest episode of Reinventing Cool.
Thank you for having me, Maria.
My pleasure. So you and I met probably a few years ago. I want to say, but we probably just had a one-time meeting at LondonCryo, which we'll talk about later.
Yeah.
But more recently, I've become addicted to your Saturdays classes at Barry's, which is quite an intense class.
Yeah.
So do you want to tell us a little bit more about what you do and who you are?
Yeah, well, as you said, my name's Andre. Group exercise instructor. I've been teaching group exercise for about 10 years. Pandemic, got to take that into consideration. 2010
Right.
is when I started, so I had plenty of experience in the field. I've been at Barry's for 6 years. This is my 6th year, I think, in December. And yeah, doing something that I love doing. I get to meet loads of different people, you being one of them, and get to do something that I love every day of the week. So I really can't
Love putting people through those really torturous classes, right?
Do you know what? It's that sort of like that way off of putting yourself through a bit of pain for that pleasure afterwards in terms of the benefits that you get from the workout. Yeah. As tough as I do make my workouts, I do put a lot of thought into making it inclusive for everyone, and again the benefits that you will get from it. So moment of an hour, 50 minutes to an hour in the room for benefits that will last much longer.
And I agree. I mean, I do come along to a Saturday class, and it is the hardest class I probably do all week, but you feel absolutely amazing. Once it's done, you're like, okay, what an achievement, and then off you go. So.
Common line that I say in the class: don't get lost in the moment of how you feel here. Think about how you feel afterwards when the endorphins are running, and you start your day off, because I teach mostly early classes. You start your day off completing something that is challenging, and then you'll feel better for it. A long-lasting effect after the class.
Totally agree. So let's talk about the first time you came into LondonCryo. It was was that the first time you tried cryotherapy?
Yeah, so I had actually seen, I think, one of our other instructors, Sam, that had been doing it, and I thought, I noticed that you had come to the classes, and I think I messaged you. I might have reached out to you on Instagram, and that was pre-pandemic. That's now our marker for everything. Yes. But yeah, pre-pandemic, I think I reached out to you, and I think that was when you had the city site. Yes. I'm not sure if Belgravia had opened. I'm not 100% sure.
We opened that 6 months before the pandemic.
Right. So, okay. So yeah, it was way before that. Yes. And yeah, I came in. I didn't know too much about cryotherapy. I asked a few questions. I heard that it was good for the recovery, and then came in, had a session. It was good, but then I guess I'll say I didn't know all the benefits, so I didn't keep it up. I just had that one session. I thought, I got cold for a little bit, and then I sort of left it. Never really carried it on.
So with cryotherapy, as you now know, there's a cumulative effect from doing it consistently. 100%. And this is where we've come to know each other a bit better, because you've suffered with a few injuries. Yeah. So you've now made LondonCryo part of your lifestyle, your recovery routine, your weekly routine. Yes. So would you like to talk to us a bit about that?
So basically, during the pandemic, again, I keep referring to it.
That's okay. It was such an important part in our past,
milestone,
right?
For everyone.
Yes.
During the pandemic, I was doing a lot of outdoor exercise. I was going to the running track, running. I've had several injuries. I won't list them, otherwise it would take up the rest of this sort of like podcast. But I had an ankle injury, which basically led to a back injury, which during the pandemic, when I was running, obviously physiotherapy wasn't available, wasn't open, so I couldn't get my normal release from having my sports massage, which I normally have once to twice a week actually. So I developed tendinopathy of my quad tendon.
Right.
Yeah, so which is basically inflammation, the less fancy way of saying it.
Yeah.
Had inflammation on my right knee, which got to the point where I couldn't actually bend my knee.
Wow.
So there was no squats, no lunges, and that was including body weight, let alone putting any sort of weight on me. That developed quite badly. I had hospital procedure, treatment, shockwave therapy, a lot of treatment on it. It got better, then got worse. And then when I went on holiday to Dubai over Christmas, that's when I was in the sun a lot, and the natural rays of the sun seemed to have a positive effect on it, where it was actually the first time that was actually pain-free. And I'd seen, obviously, LondonCryo, followed on Instagram. I'd seen that you had the red light therapy and the red light treatment.
Amazing.
So that's when I reached out to you again, and I said, look, I explained the situation in terms of my experience in Dubai, and I said to you, is it possible for me to come down? And you were more than happy, more than willing to sort of like cater for me and have me in. So
knowing the injury and knowing what our treatments do, and that would allow you to rehabilitate and get you back to doing the exercises, we knew that obviously was going to be a good fit for you. But as well as doing the red light therapy that you got so many benefits from, you do cryotherapy. You also do the local cryo. That's like a little unsung hero. Something that we need to focus a lot on, because that is direct cryotherapy on the area that's injured. So it helps to speed up recovery in that area. And then of course the whole body cryotherapy, which we will get you to do a session as well while you're here.
Looking forward to it.
Exactly. And something we recently introduced that you're getting the full benefit of is the hyperbaric oxygen chamber.
Yes.
Do you want to talk to us a little bit about the benefits you're getting from that?
Yeah, so once I'd started, so obviously since Christmas or New Year's, I'd started all the other treatments, and then I'd seen there was someone else that was doing, I think Sana. Yes. She had been doing it, and I thought, let me ask about that and find out, because the amount that I train, not just in terms of the work, I actually train a lot myself. Sessions tend to be 2 to 3 hours a day.
That's quite intense.
I don't think I've ever spoken to you about how much I actually train. So it's not all high intensity training, but there are a lot of things which put a lot of strain on the body. So as you get older, my whole thing is, it's not that you necessarily can't work out at the same intensity, it's about recovering better so that you can. Prepping and recovery afterwards. So anything that I can kind of like find that will add to my recovery, that will help me and aid me in my recovery, I'm looking for that. And it's funny, this was not planned, but Matt Fraser, he always looked for that extra 1%. He does CrossFit. Find that extra 1% that will improve your training or help your training. So that's what I kind of look for. As much as I don't compete necessarily, it's something that I love and I enjoy. So when it came to seeing something else that I might be able to add in, I thought to myself, it's a no-brainer. And then I spoke to you about, you explained it, getting the oxygen through the body, decompression in that chamber for that whole hour, hour plus. For me, it made sense if I could fit it in, and to be honest, I get to sleep for an hour in the middle of the day.
That's a little benefit, right? A benefit.
Every time the girls always ask me, "Oh, did you enjoy it? Did you go to sleep?" I'm like,
exactly.
Fell asleep. But like, I can sleep. Obviously, waking up early and whatnot, I fall asleep very easily. But I get to just relax, and then again, in the short term, it sets me up to go and teach my next class, to go and do my training, or to recover from the session if I've had it before. So there's benefits all around.
So many benefits from doing it. We had another guest who will do the Normatec in there, so she's getting her recovery in there by doing that as well. So there's all these little things you can do.
I might have to try that one out as well.
Exactly.
Give me
I don't know how safe it is, but we do it anyway. Because if there's all these little things you could do to kill two birds with one stone and aid your recovery, then why not give it a go, right?
I agree.
Okay, so Andrea, we'll pivot now and talk about cryotherapy and the direct impact it's had on your injury. We spoke, just about the local cryo and how that, helps the injury. Getting the cold onto that area helps to get more blood flow into that area to speed up recovery. But you also do whole body cryotherapy with us. So do you want to talk to us about that?
So I've been doing the combination of the two. I would do the local therapy, so I could target, as I said, the injury that I had just above my knee, reducing the inflammation. What I found, getting that direct, using that suction cup, getting that direct effect on it, or direct pressure to it, which I found again brought down any pain that I was feeling and help me better with my training. I'll then do the red light and then go again for the whole body, because again, you can't question or argue with getting a little bit extra for the entire body.
That's right.
In order to recover from my workouts, and as well, kind of like a second hit when it comes to targeting or recovering with my knee, but not as intense. So it allowed me, the local allowed me to focus on the areas that I need to focus on, which I've actually expanded because I tend to get a little bit of RSI as well, so I do my elbows as well. I'm literally just target the areas, and then again I do the red light, do the local red light where I'm hitting the areas specifically, and again it's not an exaggeration. I'll come in with pain and I'll walk out without, especially with the red light and the combination with that local cryo, and then the chamber just adds on to, just touches up anything else.
Andre, that's an amazing recount of the benefits that you get from the treatments. So shall we go over and get you ready for your cryo session now and do that with us?
Definitely.
So Andre, you've been doing the hyperbaric oxygen chamber. Do you want to tell us a little bit about the benefits you're getting from doing this one?
Right, so I've been doing it, I would say about 3 months solid now, at least twice a week. I'm nearly at that sort of like threshold of doing it for, I think it was the 20 hours. I think I've nearly done that. But yeah, in terms of benefits, it's I think the added oxygen, I think that's the biggest thing. Added oxygen into my bloodstream, supporting my muscles in terms of repair, as we spoke about earlier in conversations that we've had. Repair and recovery is very important. So if you're increasing the amount of oxygen that you're putting into your body, the pureness of it, especially living in London as well, you're going to improve your recovery. And to be honest, I still get injuries. It's a natural part of what I do. But what I'm finding is that I'm recovering a lot quicker in terms of my cardio as well. And I feel that my cardiovascular fitness has improved as well. In terms of quantifying it, it's very difficult to do, but being consistent, I do feel that there has been a huge change in terms of how long I've been doing it for, and the sort of like overlap of how I've been feeling, especially when, as I just said a second ago, recovering from injuries and little niggles as you start to get. When you're getting a little bit older, they tend to pop up a little bit more. Unfortunately, there's nothing you can do to avoid it. Exactly. No. But what I'm finding is this is helping me. I'll get small things that maybe last year or prior to doing all the treatment that I've added into my recovery process would take a little bit longer. I'm finding that I'm getting back to being able to work at that 90-100% capacity of my sort of like full potential.
Fantastic.
So, it's been a great addition.
So shall we get you in for a session while you're here with us? If you just take a step in there, your mask's already been fitted in there. Andre, how are you feeling in there?
Really good, nice and relaxed. Feel like new.
So as you mentioned earlier, the protocol is to do the hyperbaric, which you've just done now. So that gets 550% more oxygen into the bloodstream.
Interesting. I've never actually known the numbers. So
well, there you go. So you've got 550%. That's just because of the level that it goes down in this one here. I mean, the hard shells give you even more oxygen into the bloodstream. And that gets all the blood into the bloodstream, blood circulating. So now it's best to go do your cryo session.
Let's get to it.
Let's do that. The next treatment we're going to have you do today is cryotherapy. So do you want to tell us how you felt the first time you were doing cryotherapy?
The first time that I did it, taking it back a little bit, most of, I think, people's apprehensions of being in closed space and it being very cold, I don't tend to have those. I kind of like look forward to something that's challenging, and actually at that point I had heard about the cold shower in the morning sort of like challenge or a way to start your day. So I was intrigued in terms of how that would feel in contrast, because I had actually started doing it at that point. So excitement might have been a word, which people might hear this and think to themselves, excited, is he okay? But no, yeah, I don't mind extremes if I know there's a benefit for it.
Yes.
And after, as I said, our conversation, I know there's a benefit, so I don't mind putting myself in a position where it's uncomfortable for a moment for lasting benefits. So yeah, excited. Let's use that one.
Let's use
roll
that
with
one.
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
So we're just going to finish pre-cooling the machine. Then once it's ready, I'll open the door. You'll step inside, and we'll speak to you once you get to the top there.
Yeah, we'll see how this goes.
So, are you ready, Andre?
Yes, ready to go.
Let's get you in. So, watch your step going in. Thank you. Yeah.
First minute tends to fly by.
It does.
Tends to fly by. There's no sort of issues in the first minute in terms of actually feeling the cold, because I've had quite a warm, sort of like natural temperature.
Right. Okay.
After the first minute, it then starts to get
to bite a little bit. Yeah.
You start to notice it.
Yeah, you do.
You start to notice it. I think it tends to be the last 60 seconds where I will notice it, but I'm always talking to whoever's doing the session for me.
Yes. That's an important thing to say, actually, because there's someone in the room with you at all times, so there's no need to be afraid, right?
True. They always talking to me, asking me how my day's been, what I'm planning to go and do.
Yes. That's really important. Take a quarter of a turn. Yeah.
How my afternoon's been, and yeah, they distract me from it.
Fantastic.
And sometimes you do need that distraction.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, my left knee, I actually feel it more than my right.
Really? That must mean, is that the knee that's injured? No, it's the opposite. Because normally if there's more inflammation, that's when you can start to feel it a bit more.
Yeah, maybe my body's trying to tell me something.
Maybe it is. Lift your arms all the way up for me. Fabulous. Please take another quarter of a turn.
And then this is the little twirls that I tend to do.
Yep. Which is important to do, even though there's a vortex system to go around. It's important just to keep walking around so it's evenly distributed as you go.
Yeah.
So less than a minute to go now, Andre. You're doing really well. And you feel okay in there?
Yeah. I feel okay.
Very good. You've got 14 seconds to go.
And there we go, champion.
Yeah, did very well.
Yeah, I was a little apprehensive with this one, but
you did it, exactly. And I guess being recorded as well has given you the courage to keep going, right? And then you're done there. There you go, that's 3 minutes.
There we go, smooth entrance and exit.
Well done. So how are you feeling now you've done your cryo session?
I feel fresh. That's what I say. I feel refreshed. I feel ready to go. I've got a training session, as I was mentioning before. Got a training session after this, and I feel good and ready to go at it, to be honest.
And what would you say to anyone still sitting on the fence about trying cryotherapy?
Get involved. That's what I would say. Get involved. I mean, as I spoke to you, when it comes to me trying things and introducing things into my training schedule, I am very sort of, I will only accept or do things that I feel have worked or do actually work. I'm not in it for gimmicks or things that look a certain way. For me, it has to work, especially when it does take a bit of time. If you're doing everything, if it works, that bit of time in the day is worth investing, especially if exercise and fitness and general health. It doesn't even have to be about exercise and fitness. It's general health. Yeah. It's invested in yourself so you can live a longer, healthier life.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you for being a guest with us, Andre. Thank you very much.
Pleasure. Thank you for having me, Maria.
Thank you.
I'll see you very soon.
Yeah, see you very soon.